Hello everyone. I am Mahendran Selvakumar. I work Cloud and DevSecOps Engineer at Tata Consultancy Services, and also I am a HashiCorp Ambassador and West Midland HashiCorp User Group Leader, and also I serve AWS Community Builder and AWS Ambassador. So, in nowadays Terraform adoption is accelerating, correct? So, but without governance, it will be risky. So, that's what we need to ensure how that Terraform will be in that governance and that secured manner. So, that's where Sentinel comes in picture. So, what is Sentinel policy as a code? So, Sentinel is a policy as a code framework. So, it will be enabling that fine grained and logic based policies. You can return that Sentinel policies in with the code, and it will be integrated with that HCP Terraform workflows. So, you can define that the policies in that code. It can be reused, it can be reused. So, without Sentinel, we need to manage that, manually check everything, we need to do the peer review, and this is the time consuming and also the unpredictable. So, that is what Sentinel comes in that picture. So, with Sentinel, so you do not need to worry about those things, because Sentinel manages that everything, it automatically do that governance, it automatically clear that's what you need to do. So, what will be completed. So, it will avoid that manual errors and human errors as well. So, in the Sentinel policies there are three types of enforcement levels, that are advisory, soft mandatory, and also that hard mandatory. So, in that by default advisory will be in that warning session. So, in that warning, so you can able to run the Terraform apply if you are facing in that advisory as well. So, in that soft mandatory, so it will be in that it will be in that failed section. So, and if you have the approver access, and you can run the Terraform apply, but if you get the any error in that hard mandatory, but it should be passed. So, if not, so you can't able to proceed the Terraform apply. So, next thing is that policy set. So, we have multiple Sentinel policies. So, the multiple Sentinel policies groups are that policy sets. So, in that policy set you can use the different policy enforcement. So, for example, if one policies you can use that advisory, and other policies you can use that soft mandatory. So, in that policy sets you can directly integrate with that HCP Terraform. So, pre-written Sentinel policies. So, HashiCorp provides the library of pre-written Sentinel policies. In that case, we do not need to worry about that manual written of policy codes. So, we have a policies library. Using that policies library, we can able to streamline that compliances. So, let us see some AWS related policies checks. So, HashiCorp and AWS collaboratively work with the pre-written Sentinel policies for AWS. So, it was that aligned with the CAS Foundation benchmark. So, in that CAS Foundation benchmark, it will be have that complaint checks for the versions 1.2, 1.4 and latest 3.0. So, how the Sentinel policies works with that AWS CAS Foundation benchmark, here you can able to see that. So, the particular Sentinel policy has a cloud trial S3 bucket should have access logging enabled. So, once you have that one, it will be have that code. So, when you choose that particular policy library, it will provide that code. So, in that enforcement level you can modify, so like that advisory to soft mandatory and soft mandatory to hard mandatory. The next, alongside that CAS Foundation, we have that AWS FSPB Foundation benchmarks. So, this is also same like that CAS. So, in that AWS Foundation benchmark, so you can able to adopt that AWS environment secure and governance manner. So, here also you can able to provide that. So, for example, here we have that EC2 instance should not have public IPv4 address. So, in that case, so if you have that issues, if you enable that Sentinel policy, it will block that. So, based on that policy enforcement level you have given. So, whether it should be that advisory at soft enforcement. So, next we will see about the demo in that pre-written AWS policies to the Terraform workflow.
For this demo, I have created a repository called HashiCorp Terraform code. In this repository, I have multiple files like provider.tf, variable.tf and main.tf. If you go to that main.tf, you can able to see the code for VPC creations and AMA creation and EC2 IP EC2 creations and that security group creation and S3 bucket creation. To test that Sentinel policies, I have given some values as the non-compliant. For example, so EBS volume should be encrypted, correct, but I have given as the false, and port 22 should not be open, so as a wider range, so I have given that wider range, and S3 bucket should not access publicly, I have given that false to test the Sentinel policies. Same like that, I have another repository called HashiCorp Sentinel policies. In the Sentinel policies repository, I have the file sentinel.hcl. So here I have derived all the policies. For example, so EC2 EBS encryption enabled policies configured with that hard mandatory. Same like that, other policies configured with that different enforcement levels. So if you see that S3 block public access bucket level, should be configured with that advisory, and S3 requiem of a delete configured with that advisory. Once we derived, we need to configure the policy set. To configure the policy set, we need to go to that settings. If you in the settings, you can able to see that policy set. Here I have already created that HashiCorp for policy sets. In that policy set, I already created the Sentinel policy repository, correct? That's what's integrated. So for the scope perspective, I have given the scope as that project and workspaces, but here I have chosen the default project. Once you configure that policy sets, you can able to run the Terraform. So if you run the Terraform in that workspaces, now just click that new run. So if you click the new run, it will ask that run name. So here I have given that Sentinel demo. Once given the Sentinel demo, I will start that particular run. Once I started that workspace Terraform run, it will start the plan. So it will start the plan, and it will take some time to provide that plan report. Once the plan completed, we can able to see that what are the resources going to create. So once plan completed, the particular Sentinel policies will be start to run. So if you see, the particular Sentinel policies got failed. Okay, if we go to that particular failed advisory and tabs, you can able to see that failed tab, correct? If you click that one of the policies, it will show that why it was failed and what enforcement mode we have given, because here we have given that mandatory enforcement. That's what it's got failed, and here you can able to see the reasons as well. So and as the same thing, you can able to see that other policy as well. So why this policy got failed? So here we have given security group rules as the 0.0.0 for port 22. That's why it's got failed. Same like that, you can able to see the advisory. So if you click that one of the advisory policies, you can able to see that advisory enforcement mode as that advisory, and you can able to see that why it was given as that advisory. So here you can able to see S3 bucket should be block, and same like that, here you can able to see that S3 RMFA. If you go to that all, you can able to see that S3 block S3 account block public access should be paused, correct? Because here we have given that none of the resources got violations. Okay, so that's what it's got paused. Once until otherwise, so once we fix the once we fix that policy set, so we can able to run the Terraform apply.
The next topic is that ephemeral resources. So apart from that Sentinel policies, this is the most using tool in the Terraform. So the ephemeral resources, so you have that passwords, access keys and secret tokens, but it should not be stored in the Terraform plan files and that state file. So that's where ephemeral resources comes in. So in that ephemeral resources, so it will be available only on the during the plan and apply stages. It should not be stored in that ephemeral Terraform plan and state files. So how do we enable that ephemeral resources? You should add the resources in that ephemeral block. So here we added that AWS secret manager secret version in that ephemeral block. So in that block, so you can add that secret ID and that particular secret manager versions and the DB password. So that's what we can achieve in that ephemeral resources. The next one is that ephemeral variables. It's same like that ephemeral resources. In that ephemeral variables, it's the particular variables not stored in the Terraform plan file and also the state file. So it will be available only during the current run. So when you run the Terraform plan, it will be available, and when you run the Terraform apply, it will be picked from that variable block. So how do we enable that ephemeral variables? You should add that ephemeral equal to true in that ephemeral variable block. Once you add it in that one, so it automatically pick the value. So where we can use these ephemeral variables, so we can use that in that satellite passwords and also that access tokens and access keys. Wherever we need, we can use that ephemeral variables. And the next one is that ephemeral outputs. So in that ephemeral outputs, it should look same as that ephemeral variables, but in that ephemeral outputs, we can use only in the child models, we can't use in that root model. So by default, so when we use the normal output block, so we can use that particular outputs in that root model, and we can embed with that other models, correct. So in that case, we can't able to use in that root model, so we can use only in that child model. So in so here also we can use that ephemeral output in the temporary. So because it's also available in the, during the run, it's not available in the Terraform state files and also that plan file. So this is also we can enable using that ephemeral equal to true. So once you add that line ephemeral equal to true, so it should not be stored in the Terraform plan file and also the state file. So next one is that write only arguments. So in that write only arguments, this is also same like that ephemeral outputs. So in that write only arguments, it will be stored in that, it will not store in that plan and state file. It will be available only in that Terraform run. So when you are running the Terraform run, so it will be available in that one. So and it doesn't have that plan differences. For example, I am going to change the one password in the AWS Secret Manager. If I change it to that multiple time, it will don't change that plan differences. For example, in that case, we will add that write only argument versions. The particular version should be changed. So when the version value change, the particular password will be changed. But the password the value is not stored in that state file. But the versions will be stored in that state file to track the changes. For example, in that version 1, I have given the one password. In that version 2, it will create another password with that AWS Secret Manager. Here I have given in that create the resources using the AWS Secret Manager. In that AWS Secret Manager version, here I have used that secret string version. So in the secret string version, so that it will be pick the password from that resource sections. In the resource from the resource block, it will be using that secret string write only argument versions. So when you give that version 1, it will pick the password, so it will track the changes in that state file. So that is a demo. So here I have added that ephemeral block. In that ephemeral block, I have added in that random password and DB password, and also I have that AWS Secret Manager block. In the AWS Secret Manager block, I have called out the things, and here I have used the secret string version, and in the secret string version, I have used that ephemeral random password and also that secret string version numbers. The version number called out in that variables. And the next thing is that so I have used that another ephemeral blocks. In that ephemeral block, I have used that secret versions. So in the secret version picked from the password, all the values will be I have stored in that DB password, because when I am creating the DB password, I should have that passwords, correct. So the password will be writing with that write only argument. Here I have used that AWS Secret Manager versions. So and that in that variable file, I have called out the secret version. Here now I am using that version number 1. So when I am running the Terraform plan, so it will when I am running the Terraform plan, it will do that resource creation, but it will not show anything related to that passwords. So if you see here, see the 3 of the resources will be created. So one is that RDS instance will be created. So in that RDS instance, you can able to see that the password write only version has that 1, and also you don't have any option to see that passwords. So it will create that values, and also you can able to see that secret string versions. When I apply the Terraform, it will create the resources. So once the resource got created, so we can able to see the outputs in the Terraform show. So when I run the Terraform show, so that now resources got created. I'm just running the Terraform show. So when I running the Terraform show, it will store that's a secret string write only version as that 1. The particular same version will be used in that RDS creations. If you see here, the password W version as the 1. So the password write only argument version as the 1. So that's what the password will be creating. So if I am going to in that secret manager, here the passwords will be created. The particular passwords will be stored in that secret manager. If you retrieve that password, the password will starts with that B and ends with that B. Okay. So what I am going to do the next, I am going to change that password versions. So then the particular write only argument version to 2. So if I am changing the version to 2, so again I am going to apply the Terraform plan. So once applied the Terraform plan, here you can able to see the particular secret string version will be changed to 1 to 2, and the same has been applied to that passwords. So the passwords will be changed to that particular version 1 to 2. So if I apply the Terraform, so if I apply the Terraform, it will change the password version. So the particular version will be moved from 1 to 2, because we don't have the values, there is no changes with that password values here, correct. So it will track only that password version. So it based on that password version, the Terraform store it in that state file. So now it will apply that new password to that database instance. So now the RDS instance will be updating, and it updated with that new password, because we changed that password W versions in that 1 to 2. See now the apply got completed, and you can able to see that. So the existing resources got destroyed, and it will be created in that new resources, and the particular password also changed in that RDS instances. See if you see here, the particular secret string version changed it to 2, and also that it will be applied in that RDS password. So if you see here in that secret manager, if you retrieve the password got changed. So in that Terraform plan and the Terraform state file, we don't see anything related to that password value changes. We can change only that particular versions. The last piece of the puzzle, so ephemeral workspace. So using that ephemeral workspace, we can set the timeouts. So in that HCP Terraform platform, so we have that ephemeral workspace. In that ephemeral workspace, we can set the timeouts. Using when you set the timeouts, it automatically destroys that environment. So whenever you don't need that environment, if you are running that development environment or training environment, you can set that timeout. So once you set the timeout, it will reduce that manual cleanup. So because when administrator or developer don't need to worry about the deletions, and we can avoid that Terraform, avoid the infrastructure cost as well, and it will be very useful for that testing and the purpose, because if you have the testing team, so then they will create some POC. So in that case, we can use that ephemeral workspace. If you use that ephemeral workspace, it will be deleted in that every Sunday or every day. So here in that example I can show that. So here the time frame will be in 1 day. So in each day it will be deleted. So it will be deleted in that auto destroy. So we don't need to worry about that one. That's also, if you want to learn more about that Sentinel policies and ephemeral workspaces and ephemeral resources, just go through this website. So you can learn more about this in that website, and you can able to get that policies registries in that Terraform registry. You can able to get that CAS Foundation registry and also the FSBB Foundation registry, and they have that GitHub also. So you can get the details from the GitHub as well. Thank you all. Thanks for joining the session. So if you want to learn more about, if you have any question in that ephemeral resources or Sentinel, I'm around here. You can chat with me, and I'm happy to see. Thank you all.